is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, climate showdown in Rio. London Mayor Sadiq Khan condemned what he called climate wreckers, directly criticizing U.S. President Donald Trump as the C40 World Mayor Summit opened in Rio de Janeiro, days ahead of COP30. In the United States, tariff powers under scrutiny. The White House has urged the U.S. Supreme Court to uphold President Trump's authority to impose tariffs on national security grounds as a key hearing begins in Washington. Flood control fallout. Philippine Ombudsman Romualdez says former House Speaker Martin Romualdez may be held accountable for alleged anomalies linked to former lawmaker Zaldico and flood control projects. Investment fears in the Philippines. Business figure Chavit Singson says foreign investors remain hesitant to enter the country, citing widespread corruption despite government promotion campaigns. Caracas and Moscow stand firm. Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro reaffirms ties with Russia, accusing the US and Ecuador of meddling in narcotics warfare. Ukraine expands defense experts. President Volodymyr Zelensky announces the creation of export capitals in Berlin and Copenhagen to boost defense sales and military partnerships across Europe. Milestone in space. Chinese astronauts have cooked fresh, hot meals in orbit for the first time, a new step in long-term space living. And in the world of sports, Welsh heptathlete Abigail Pawlett impresses in her World Championships debut in Tokyo, despite a late injury, ending her run early. I'm Rachel Pastor. Newsline World starts now. While Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. champions the Philippines as open for business, former Ilocos Sur Governor and prominent businessman Chavit Singson warns that widespread corruption is scaring off foreign investors. Singson calls on the government to tackle graft head-on to restore investor confidence in the country. This report from MJ Mondihano.
Today, let me make our message clear. The Philippines is open, ready, and eager to do business with you.
That was a statement of President Bongbong Marcos Jr. before world leaders at the APEC Summit in South Korea. According to the president, the economies of APEC and ASEAN will become closer under the Philippines' leadership of the 2026 ASEAN Summit. However, former Ilocos Sur Governor Chavit Singson holds a different view.
Manong, sa mga kakilala po ninyo negosyante abroad, anong masasabi po nila sa investor climate po ng Pilipinas?
Natatakot na sila.
Bakit po, Manong?
Dahil sa grabe corruption. Walang nangyayari.
In an interview with SMNI News, Singson stressed that widespread corruption in the government, including the issue of the flood control anomaly, serves as a major red flag for investors. However, according to President Marcos, foreign investors have become more confident after he exposed the anomaly. However, business tycoon like Singson argued that it shouldn't be the president making such claims, but the investors themselves. He further said that if the Independent Commission on Infrastructure ICI is serious about investigating the flood control projects, it should start with Ilocos Norte, the president's home province. Singson claimed to have evidence of irregularities in the flood control projects in Ilocos Norte. Malacanang has yet to respond to Singson's challenge.
Kung totoo kayong tao na ICI na for the country, punta na kayo sa Ilocos Norte dahil inaayos na lahat ng mga kalukuhan na project doon. By doing that, magkaroon ng kredibilidad ang ating presidente na magbintang sa iba. Simple lang, tumutulong pa nga tayo eh.
Singson also believes that because of the negative image brought by the flood control issue, the country's ability to secure tariff concessions from the United States has been affected.
Nagpunta sa ibang bansa, lahat binigyan ulit yung mga ibang countries, siya wala. Nakakaya tayo because grabe corruption.
Malacanang explained that the Philippines was not left out of the United States 0% tariff concessions. According to the palace, the country deliberately chose not to join the scheme to protect local industries from excessive foreign competition. The Marcos administration reportedly prioritized food security and the welfare of local producers over market liberalization. The palace's statement was issued in response to the disappointment expressed by the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or PCCI, after the Philippines failed to secure any tariff breaks. Earlier, U.S. President Donald Trump approved a 0% tariff scheme for selected products from Malaysia, Cambodia, and Thailand. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been MJ Mondeja, SMNI News.
Philippine Ombudsman Boying Rimulya is moving forward with charges against former officials of the Department of Public Works and Highways over a 72 million peso flood control project in Bulacan. Meanwhile, former House Speaker Martin Romualdez is now under investigation for his alleged role in the scandal. More on this from Sheena Torno.
The Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or ICI, has once again filed a complaint with the Office of the Ombudsman, submitting documents and gathered evidence against several former officials of the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH. This is in connection with the project of the DPWH Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office, implemented through Top-Notch Catalyst Builders Incorporated, amounting to 72.3 million pesos. The project was supposed to be a riverbank protection structure in Bagong Silang Plaridel, Bulacan. However, according to a report by the Commission on Audit, no such structure was built at the location indicated in the approved plans. Instead, it was transferred to an unauthorized site, and worse, according to the ICI, the constructor had already been fully paid for the project.
We recommend the filing of criminal and administrative charges against the following: former Secretary Manuel Bonoan of the DPWH, former USEC Ms. Maria Catalina Cabral, former DPWH Secretary Mr. Roberto Bernardo.
According to ICI Chairperson Andres Reyes, this is due to their alleged violation of the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees. Aside from them, Henry Alcantara, Bryce Hernandez, and several other officials from the Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office, as well as the owner of Top-Notch Catalyst Builders Incorporated, are also being charged for alleged violations of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, malversation and falsification of public documents, and the Government Procurement Act.
We condemn the white-collar criminality. We condemn the ninja style of manipulating the budget so as to please a few, greedy few.
Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Rimulya announced that the filing of court cases against those involved in the anomalies project will be done earlier than initially scheduled. In particular, the first and second batches of cases recommended by the Independent Commission for Infrastructure to the Ombudsman are expected to be filed by November 11 this year. This is earlier than the previously announced date of November 25, after the accused submitted their counter affidavits this week.
Let's say we receive the counter affidavits within this week. Next week, we can already have a resolution. The teams, the panels in the PI can already have a resolution. And once the resolution is approved by the panel, it will go to my office and then instruction for filing already. So hopefully, kung ngayon ay November 4, by November 11, baka meron na kami na file sa korte.
Rimulya further stated that they are still investigating several other cases related to the anomalous project, including his directive to create a new task force to focus on the projects of the Villar family. This is because, according to him, the Riverside project stretching from Bacoor City to Muntinlupa City is worth billions of pesos. He added that this project needs to be closely monitored by a separate team from the Office of the Ombudsman. Meanwhile, the Office of the Ombudsman is also looking into the possible liability of former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. According to Rimulya, Romualdez is allegedly connected to resign Cobico Representative Zaldico in relation to corruption involving flood control projects. Rimulya said that while Co is the main figure being linked to the anomalous flood control projects, it was still Romualdez who made it possible for Co to assume the position of the chairperson of the House Committee on Appropriations during the 19th Congress.
When we look at the Saldico cases, the whole pattern that happened, it was really Saldico working with some senators that came up with a final version of the budget. And the plan was laid out there. If fingers do not point to the speaker, former speaker, as the leader of the House, he was responsible for the appointment of Saldico. Although Saldico was elected on the floor, everybody knows that it is the Speaker's choice. That's why we have to hold him accountable for that.
Martin Romualdez may be held liable for a case related to negligence in the performance of his duties. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or CAAP, has confirmed that most of its airports sustained only minimal damage in the wake of Typhoon Tino. According to CAAP, airports under its supervision were largely unscathed after Typhoon Tino swept through parts of the Philippines. Initial assessments showed only minor structural impacts in several facilities, with no major infrastructure damage or aviation-related incidents reported. Among the affected airports, San Vicente Airport reported flooding at its aircraft rescue and firefighting station. Borongan Airport experienced slight roof damage to its terminal building, while Hilongos Airport reported a broken glass door and some ceiling damage in the pre-departure area. Guinuan Airport also noted minor issues with its gutter and roofing. CAAP said the agency has already deployed personnel to assess affected families or facilities and carry out immediate repairs. He added that CAAP continues to coordinate with area managers for timely updates and rapid response efforts. The agency assured the public remains in close coordination with local government units and partner agencies to prioritize passenger safety and security. Meanwhile, the White House is urging the Supreme Court to do the right thing ahead of Wednesday's hearing on President Donald Trump's use of tariffs under national security powers. More on this from Sara Santos.
White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt says the administration is 100% confident that the president's legal argument will stand, insisting tariffs have been key to ending wars, attracting investments, and cutting America's trade deficit.
The president must have the emergency authority to utilize tariffs. Look at what President Trump has been able to do with the leverage and the power of tariffs. He's been able to sign peace deals all over the world and end global conflicts and literally save lives. He's been able to bring in trillions of dollars of investments into our country. And
Leavitt added that this year alone, the White House expects to reduce the U.S. deficit by $600 billion, crediting the president's tariff strategy. She also said Trump won't attend the hearing on the 5th of November. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will represent the administration instead. The Supreme Court will hear oral arguments on whether Trump's use of a national security law to impose broad, economy-wide tariffs is constitutional. The president has previously defended tariffs as tools for ending wars, including the recent India-Pakistan conflict, and boosting U.S. jobs through foreign investment. The Supreme Court's ruling could determine not just the scope of Trump's authority, but that of future presidents as well. Reporting Sara Santos, SMNI News.
The mayor of London has launched a fiery rebuke against global leaders he branded climate destroyers, singling out U.S. President Donald Trump during the opening of the 2025 C40 World Mayor Summit in Rio de Janeiro, just days before COP30. More on this story from Jane Cognita.
London Mayor Sadiq Khan addressed nearly 100 city leaders from around the world gathered to discuss urban climate action. He warned that the climate battle is now a fight between climate wreckers and climate defenders, accusing the United States of fueling pollution and environmental collapse.
The challenge we face today is stark. It's no longer simply a case of climate doers versus climate deniers. Now it's an existential fight between the climate wreckers and us, the climate defenders. And let's be clear, foremost among the wreckers is the President of the United States of America.
Khan's remarks followed Trump's controversial speech at the United Nations in September, where the U.S. president dismissed climate change as a hoax. The London mayor accused so-called climate wreckers of chaining the world to fossil fuels and worsening extreme weather events.
The climate wreckers want to chain us to the fossil fuels of the past, vandalizing our planet and vandalizing our homes with boiling temperatures, more pollution, and more climate-induced disasters. But the likes of the C40, the climate defenders, offer us an alternative. They offer our people freedom, dignity, and hope.
The C40 World Mayor Summit, which runs from the 3rd to the 5th of November, serves as a prelude to COP30 in Belém, Brazil, where global leaders will review commitments to limit temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, President Luis Inacio Lula da Silva also criticized U.S. President Donald Trump for rejecting climate science. During his visit to the agro-extractivist settlement of Ilha Grande near Belém, ahead of the COP30 climate conference in the Amazon, Lula questioned how world leaders could still deny global warming while glaciers melt and seas rise, warning that climate inaction could drown coastal communities.
Então, como a gente está com essa história que tem presidente no mundo que não acredita que o clima está mudando, a gente resolveu fazer a COP aqui no estado do Pará. A COP é um momento em que o mundo discute a questão do clima. Se está derretendo, sabe, a geleira que tem no mundo, se a gente vai ter mais de 1,5 grau de calor, porque aí a coisa vai ficar muito difícil para nós, né? Quanto mais calor, mais a gente vai sofrer, o mar vai crescer, muitas ilhas podem afundar.
Brazil is gearing up to host COP30, the first ever UN climate conference held in the Amazon rainforest. Authorities say more than 170 delegations are expected, with discussions focused on protecting forests and cutting global emissions.
Tivemos uma revolução na cidade de Belém para receber os gringos que vierem aqui. E o companheiro Helder sabe que depois que a COP foi embora, tudo que foi feito por conta da COP tem que ficar para benefício do povo do estado do Pará e para benefício do estado do povo de Belém.
Lula's comments come amid growing tensions with Washington over climate commitments, as the United States confirmed it will not send any high-level delegates to COP30. From Rio de Janeiro to Belém, the climate debate is heating up, with mayors and presidents now publicly confronting the world's biggest polluters ahead of the global summit. This has been Jane Cognita, your global citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Up next, Caracas and Moscow stand firm. Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro reaffirms ties with Russia, accusing the US and Ecuador of meddling in narcotics warfare. And Ukraine expands defense exports. President Volodymyr Zelensky announces the creation of export capitals in Berlin and Copenhagen to boost defense sales and military partnerships across Europe. More news when Newsline World returns.
Sa kabila ng mga mas modernong kaalaman at teknolohiya, nananatiling matindi ang banta ng HIV sa Pilipinas. Pero gaano nga ba kalala ang sitwasyon? Ang HIV o Human Immunodeficiency Virus ay isang sakit na sumisira sa immune system ng katawan. Ngunit tandaan, hindi ito nakukuha sa simpleng pakikisalamuha. Hindi mo agad mararamdaman, pero unti-unti nitong pinapahina ang katawan. At kapag hindi naagapan, humahantong ito sa AIDS, ang huling yugto na impeksyon, kung saan halos wala ng panlaban ng katawan laban sa sakit. Patuloy na dumadami ang kaso ng sakit na ito sa Pilipinas. Isang nakababahalang pagtaas. Umabot na sa 500% ang itinaas ng HIV cases sa mga kabataang edad 15 hanggang 25. Ayon mismo sa Department of Health, 56 na bagong kaso ang naitatala kada araw sa bansa mula Enero hanggang Marso 2025. At ang pinakamatinding apektado, ang kalalakihan at kabataang Pilipino. Dahil dito, ang Pilipinas na ngayon ang may pinakamataas na bilang ng bagong kaso ng HIV sa buong Western Pacific region. Isang indikasyon ng lumulubhang sitwasyon Kaya nananawagan ng Department of Health gawing opisyal at urgent ang laban sa HIV sa pamamagitan ng isang Public Health Emergency Declaration. Kalalakihan ng pangunahing apektado, 95% ng bagong kaso ay lalaki. Mahigit 1/3 ay kabataang nasa edad 15 hanggang 24. Habang wala pang deklarasyon, patuloy ang DOH sa mga sumusunod na hakbang: HIV testing, libreng gamot, self-test kits, at pakikipagtulungan sa DepEd para sa edukasyon sa mga paaralan. Isinulong rin ng DOH ang online patient appointment system para sa HIV patients. Layunin nitong gawing mas madali at mas personal ang pag-access sa libreng gamutan at konsultasyon. Ayon sa schedule ng pasyente, ang HIV ay hindi tulad ng flu. Hindi ito basta naipapasa sa hangin. Ito ay naipapasa sa pamamagitan ng personal na desisyon. Kailangan din nating pagtuunan ng pansin ang ugali, disiplina, at personal na responsibilidad. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
Madalas ka bang napapasobra sa pag-scroll sa phone mo kahit puro masasamang balita ang nakikita mo? Isipin mo ito. Nakahiga ka na sa kama, nagche-check lang ng phone bago matulog. Tapos, hindi mo namalayan, ilang oras ka na palang nagbabasa at nanonood ng mga balita tungkol sa digmaan, sakuna, politika, at lahat ng masasamang nangyayari sa mundo. Nakakaramdam ka na ng kaba at pagod, pero tuloy mo pa rin ang scroll mo. Ang tawag dyan ay doom scrolling. Ito ang habit ng paulit-ulit na pagtingin sa mga negatibo o nakakadepress na content tulad ng digmaan, krimen, o problema sa mundo. Nakaka-stress, pero hindi mo pa rin mapigilan. Ayon sa isang pag-aaral ng Texas Tech University, ang sobrang konsumo ng masasamang balita ay nauugnay sa pagtaas ng stress, anxiety at pisikal na sintomas gaya ng pagkapagod at sakit ng ulo. Ayon naman sa Harvard Health, ang doom scrolling ay nagpapataas ng fight or flight hormones tulad ng cortisol at adrenaline na nakakapagpabigat ng isip at katawan. Nakakaapekto ito sa iyong mood, tulog at maging sa mental at physical health mo. At kapag naman puro memes at random na content ang pinapanood mo ng sunod-sunod hanggang sa mawalan ka na ng gana na mag-isip at gumawa ng iba pang gawain, ang tawag naman dyan ay brain rot. Sa Gen Z at tinatawag na internet culture, ang brain rot ay overconsumption o sobrang tagal na panonood ng paulit-ulit, mababaw, magulo o walang saysay na content online hanggang sa parang manhid na ang utak mo. Kapag nasobrahan, syempre, nakakasama. Nawawalan ka na ng focus, nawawala ang motivation, hirap mag-isip ng malalim, parang lutang o foggy ang utak. Masaya sa simula, pero kapag sobra, napapagod ang isip mo. Nahihirapang mag-concentrate at parang lutang. Mas delikado pa ito sa mga bata dahil ang utak nila ay nasa proseso pa ng pag-develop. Kaya mas malakas ang epekto ng doom scrolling at brain rot sa kanila. Maaaring makaapekto sa pag-aaral, pag-iisip at pakikitungo sa iba. Ang higit sa 4 na oras ng screen time araw-araw sa mga kabataan ay konektado sa 35 to 88% na mas mataas na posibilidad ng depresyon, anxiety at stress. Base ito sa isang malawakang pag-aaral sa Brazil. Kaya, maging balanse. Magpahinga sa screen, magbasa, makipagkwentuhan, magdasal, maging present lagi. Alagaan ang iyong isipan. Kung anong itinatanim sa isipan mo, yun ang lalago.
As Typhoon Tino continues to batter parts of the Philippines, Vice President Sara Duterte assures the public that the Office of the Vice President is fully prepared to support disaster response efforts and help affected communities. In a message to the nation, VP Sara emphasized the importance of safety measures and vigilance during the storm. This report from Jason Rubrico.
In her video message, Vice President Sara Duterte urged all citizens to remain vigilant to ensure everyone's safety. This comes amid the impact of Typhoon Tino in various parts of the country.
Bilang tugon sa epekto ng Bagyong Tino, mahigpit naming ipinapaalala sa lahat ng mamamayan na manatiling mapagmatyag at sumunod sa mga abiso at tagubilin ng mga kinauukulang otoridad. Ang kaligtasan at kapakanan ng bawat isa ang nananatiling pangunahing layunin sa panahong ito.
VP Sara also emphasized key safety reminders, including staying indoors, preparing go bags, and other precautionary measures.
Maganda ng mga bag para sa paglikas at lagyan ng pagkain, inuming tubig, flashlight, baterya at first aid kit. Tanggalin sa saksakan ang mga kagamitang dekuryente upang maiwasan ang power surge at posibleng makuryente. Iwasan lumabas o bumiyahe hanggang hindi pa idinideklarang ligtas ng mga otoridad ang ating mga kalsada. Lumipat sa mas mataas na lugar kung kayo ay nakatira sa lugar na madaling bahain. Maging alerto at makinig sa mga balita at abiso ng panahon mula sa Pag-asa. Tumulong sa mga bata, matatanda at mga taong may kapansanan.
According to VP Sara, her office continues to coordinate with local government units and disaster response teams to ensure the prompt delivery of assistance and proper coordination in areas severely affected by the typhoon.
Nakahanda ang Disaster Operations Center ng tanggapan ng pangalawang Pangulo upang magbigay suporta at mag-augment sa mga operasyon ng pagtugon sa sakuna ng mga lokal na pamahalaan.
Reporting for Newsline World, I am Jason Rubrico, SMNI News.
Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will not interfere in the moves of lawmakers to investigate the Manila Bay Dolomite Beach project. Malacanang said reports claim that the planned probe is allegedly meant to divert attention from the supposed large-scale corruption in the flood control projects that have caused severe flooding in various parts of the country. President Catarong for the rest of the details.
The House Committee on Public Accounts is set to begin its investigation into the Manila Bay Dolomite Beach project on November 17th. The project is part of the broader Manila Bay Rehabilitation Program launched in 2020 to clean and restore the heavily polluted bay, once infamous for its foul odor and garbage. The area has since become a popular attraction for both residents and tourists. In relation to the upcoming House inquiry, Malacanang expressed its respect for the move of the legislators, emphasizing that it recognizes the independence of Congress. The investigation reportedly aims to determine whether the artificial beach has contributed to the severe flooding in Metro Manila and if its implementation was aligned with the original Manila Bay Rehabilitation Plan. According to Palace Press Officer and Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro, the administration upholds the principle of separation of powers among the branches of government. Castro also assured that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will not meddle in the legislative inquiry as a gesture of respect for the constitutional mandate of Congress.
Unang-una po, muli papaalala natin na may separation of powers. So kung ano po ang magiging trabaho at gagawing mga hakbang ng House of Representatives sa pag-iimbestiga dito sa Dolomite Beach, ay yan po ay kanilang trabaho at hindi po hahadlang sa anumang hakbang ang Pangulo patungkol dyan.
However, Castro noted that the investigation could serve to determine whether there were any irregularities in the project or if it indeed affected the environment and flooding in Metro Manila. When asked about claims of political motivation, given that the multi-million peso project was implemented during the Duterte administration, Castro said that investigating previous projects should not immediately be seen as politicizing.
Hindi naman po ibig sabihin na kapag ka po iniimbestigahan ang mga proyekto na nakaraang administrasyon, ito'y pamumulitika lamang. Ibig po ba sabihin kapag ka pinaiimbestigahan ang nakaraan proyekto na naganap o nagawa ng nakaraang administrasyon, dapat hindi na ito paimbestigahan dahil otherwise it will be considered as politicizing? Parang hindi naman po yata tama yan.
Today, the Dolomite Beach features clearer waters and signs of marine life, reflecting gradual environmental recovery. Many view the project as a significant contribution to improving Manila's landscape and public recreation spaces. Meanwhile, netizens criticized the House investigation, saying the issue is being used to divert attention from alleged anomalies and large-scale corruption in flood control projects that have worsened flooding in various parts of the country. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Kersilin Catarong, SMNI News.
The Philippine Department of Migrant Workers has formally signed a key agreement to secure the safe deployment of Filipino seasonal workers to South Korea. Find out how the new program works in Prince Tripoli's report.
The MOA signing was held on Tuesday at the DMW office in Mandaluyong City, attended by officials from the Department of Agriculture, Department of Foreign Affairs, Department of the Interior and Local Government, Department of Justice, and the Bureau of Immigration, and was led by DMW Secretary Hans Layukakdak himself. In his statement, Secretary Kakdak explained that the program is implemented through an LGU to LGU partnership between local government units in the Philippines and those in South Korea. Before deployment, applicants undergo 3 employment orientation meetings facilitated by the DMW in coordination with LGUs, where a thorough selection process is conducted in accordance with the standards set by the Korean LGUs. According to the Secretary, the DMW is closely coordinating with the DILG to ensure LGU compliance with established regulations, while working with the DOJ to combat illegal recruitment and brokerage activities.
Main specific change is lahat kailangan dumaan sa DMW. At ito ay sang-ayon din sa isang Department of Justice opinion na itinalaga 2 years ago. Merong pagkakaroon na ng job applications, yes, but all job applications should not be forwarded to the LGU level but to the DMW level.
He added that the DMW continues to coordinate with the Philippine Embassy in South Korea to monitor the condition of workers during the deployment and to ensure that they remain safe and well treated in their workplaces. Kakdak further explained that the contracts of seasonal workers usually last for 5 months, corresponding to one planting and harvesting cycle. After the contract ends, they return to the Philippines but may be invited again for the next season, depending on the demand of Korean farms. The Secretary assured that the workers will receive a monthly salary ranging from 50,000 pesos to 60,000 pesos, along with insurance coverage and membership in the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or OWA, which provides welfare assistance, livelihood programs, and scholarship grants for their families. According to Kakdak, around 11,000 seasonal workers are expected to be deployed this year, out of a total of 47,000 families already benefiting from the program.
The 11,000 that I mentioned who had already been deployed under our watch, lahat yan ay OWA members, meaning they are entitled to the regular OWA programs of welfare, protection, and yung kanilang livelihood and scholarship benefits. Also, they could avail of these under the OWA.
Among them is Helen from Pura Tarlac, who has already returned to Korea 4 times as a seasonal worker. She shared that she earned nearly 100,000 pesos per month, including overtime pay and allowances. Her work season runs from October to May, during the strawberry harvest period. Each cycle, she stays for about 8 months with her employer, as she is one of the workers invited back to the strawberry farm in Korea due to her employer's satisfaction with her performance.
Ang process po ng pag-apply namin ay ang LGU, ang peso LGU po yung pumipili sa amin, and then pinapadala po ang mga names namin sa Gochang. And then sila naman po ang mamimili ng mga amo namin doon.
Previously, the process for seasonal workers was handled through an LGU to LGU agreement with Korea. Now, the deployment of seasonal workers is under the supervision of the DMW. Helen believes that this new system will allow her to receive more benefits.
Dumadaan pa rin po kami sa process ng LGU Pura, kaibahan lang po is mas pinalawak pa po ng DMW kasi sa DMW maraming ahensya ang kasama namin katulad po nitong signing of joint memorandum, and then marami po kaming mga makukuhang benefits like pinoprotektahan po yung mga rights namin.
Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Prince Tripoli, your citizen correspondent.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro reaffirmed his country's long-standing alliance with Russia, calling it a model of respect and cooperation, while accusing the United States and Ecuador of orchestrating media and narcotics operations against Venezuela. This report from Joman Santos.
Speaking in Caracas, Maduro described Venezuela's 25-year military cooperation with Russia as steady and beneficial, stressing that the partnership will continue despite Western pressure.
Con Rusia tenemos una relación, fíjate, Rusia es una gran potencia ya mundial, pero es capaz de establecer relaciones de igualdad, de respeto, de cooperación con países como Venezuela. Realmente la relación con Rusia, pudiéramos decir, es modélica, porque los rusos, con el presidente Putin al frente, han construido un modelo de respeto al derecho internacional y de cooperación para el desarrollo mutuo.
The Venezuelan leader lashed out at what he called Western and gringo media, accusing them of spreading lies to destroy his country. He also alleged that Ecuadorian President Daniel Noboa is linked to drug shipments from neighboring states, a claim yet to be addressed by Quito.
Esa mediática que quieren destruir a Venezuela. Es la mediática occidental y gringa que odian a Venezuela, envidian a Venezuela y quisieran destruirla. Pero Dios con nosotros, con su manto protector de siempre, no han podido ni jamás podrán.
Maduro further accused US intelligence agencies of knowing about drug routes from Colombia, Peru, and Bolivia through Ecuador, while praising Colombian President Gustavo Petro for his anti-narcotics efforts. The Venezuelan president also condemned Trinidad and Tobago's military exercises, calling its prime minister's warmongering and aligned with U.S. interests. As tensions with Washington rise, Maduro's remarks underscore Venezuela's deepening alignment with Moscow and Beijing, a signal of defiance against what he calls Western media and military aggression. Reporting for Newsline World, Jomo Santos, SMNI News.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine will open 2 arms export hubs or export capitals in Berlin and Copenhagen to sell surplus weapons and co-produce military equipment to Europe. For more on this report, let's go to Pawlett.
Speaking in Kiev on Monday, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said that the move to open 2 arms export hubs will help fund Ukraine's domestic weapons production, calling it a way to earn extra money while maintaining defense capacity. He said Berlin and Copenhagen will host the first 2 branches, with Alexander Komzhin overseeing export operations and legal contracts across the continent. The Ukrainian leader did not specify which weapons would be exported, but hinted that drones could be among them, saying Ukraine now produces more than it currently uses.
Зброя, яка буде експортуватися? Ми розуміємо, яка. Просто не всю зброю ми можемо дозволити собі експортувати, скажу чесно. Деяка нам дуже важлива. Ми готові працювати в морських дронах. У нас їх більше, ніж ми застосовуємо. Наші ВМС застосовують або Служба безпеки, або ССО, або ГУР. Хто застосовує морські дрони. А по-різному. Там є точно у нас в 2 рази більше, ніж ми застосовуємо. Це правда. Також у нас, на мій погляд, є інша зброя, є і артилерійські системи, хоча їх не буває, чесно кажучи, багато, але наші зараз дуже багато виробляють.
Both Denmark and Germany have existing co-production deals with Kiev. Zelensky also renewed calls for the European Union to unlock frozen Russian assets, criticizing Belgium's hesitation over a proposed reparations loan worth up to 140 billion euros, which Moscow has condemned as illegal. The US and EU have so far provided more than $200 billion in combined military aid to Ukraine. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Paul Montibon, SMNI News.
When we return, milestone in space as Chinese astronauts have cooked fresh, hot meals in orbit for the first time, a new step in long-term space living. And in the world of sports, Welsh Heptathlete Abigail Pawlett impresses on her World Championships debut in Tokyo, despite a late injury ending her run early. Newsline World will be back after the break.
Maging alerto at handa tuwing may bagyo. Upang manatiling ligtas, narito ang ilang mahahalagang paalala. Manatili sa loob ng bahay. Iwasan ang paglabas, lalo na kung malakas ang ulan at hangin. Mag-imbak ng pagkain at malinis na tubig. Maghanda ng emergency kit. Manatiling updated sa lagay ng panahon. Maghanda ng mga flashlight at extra baterya. Panatilihing fully charged ang iyong cellphone. I-secure ang mahahalagang dokumento sa waterproof na lalagyan. Patayin ang kuryente, gas at tubig kung may banta ng pagbaha. Alamin ang iyong local emergency hotlines. Putulin o tapyasan ang mga sanga ng puno na maaaring mabuwal sa malakas na ulan at hangin. Lumikas agad kung inabisuhan ng mga otoridad. Maging ligtas at maging handa sa panahon ng kalamidad. Ang paalalang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng SMNI.
Cooking in space just got an upgrade. Chinese astronauts aboard the Tiangong space station have achieved what officials are calling a major breakthrough, preparing freshly cooked meals while in orbit. This story from Valdivina Gracia.
New footage from the Tiangong space station shows crew members of the Shenzhou 20 mission firing up a newly developed hot air oven, the first of its kind designed for space use. The astronauts joined the recently arrived Shenzhou 21 crew for a celebratory in-orbit barbecue, marking the handover between missions. The 6 taikonauts can be seen placing chicken and meat into the compact oven, later enjoying their freshly cooked meal together hundreds of kilometers above Earth.
This hot air oven can achieve in-orbit cooking. Taikonauts can truly cook a meal in space now. This is a major breakthrough, a world first.
Lil Weibo says the oven comes with a built-in purification system similar to a range hood, ensuring that smoke and food particles don't contaminate the spacecraft's atmosphere. The Shenzhou 21 crew arrived at the Tiangong space station on Saturday, taking over duties
with Daniela Polite.
China marked a milestone in robotics and sports history as a humanoid robot named Quavo successfully completed a segment of the torch relay for the 15th National Games in Shenzhen, a world-first achievement that showcases the nation's advancing technological prowess. The robot captured global attention after autonomously running a 100-meter stretch while carrying a 1.6-kilogram torch with impressive balance and precision. Quavo completed the run without human assistance or remote control, underscoring China's rapid progress in artificial intelligence and robotics engineering. The historic relay began at Shenzhen's Lotus Hill Park, where simultaneous launch ceremonies also took place in Hong Kong, Macau, and Guangzhou. This marks the first time in the National Games history that the torch relay spanned 4 cities, including inaugural torch visits to Hong Kong and Macau. As the torches from the 4 cities converged at the Guangdong Olympic Sports Center in Guangzhou, the event symbolized not only unity and innovation, but also China's growing leadership in next-generation technology. The relay builds excitement ahead of the National Games grand opening on November 9, where the main cauldron will be lit, this time with the spirit of both human and machine progress leading the flame forward. Reporting for Newsline World, Daniela Paulita, SMNI News.
For today's showbiz news, one actor's giving life and another stealing hearts. Jesse Eisenberg announces plans to donate a kidney to a stranger, while Bridgerton star Jonathan Bailey earns this year's title of People's Sexiest Man Alive. Stella Maurice has more on this.
From the spotlight to selfless service, Jesse Eisenberg is proving that true heroism extends beyond the screen. Eisenberg revealed the news during an appearance on the Today Show, stating that the donation will take place in 6 weeks. He described his decision as inspired by his regular blood donations until he decided to take the next step into living organ donation. What makes the donation truly remarkable is that it's an altruistic or non-directed donation, meaning the recipient is someone he doesn't know. The Adventureland actor noted that while he originally came up with the idea almost 10 years ago, he only just got the ball rolling after medically being screened and reaching out to a transplant organization. Eisenberg added that the decision was a no-brainer for him, noting that his high-profile choice could help raise awareness about this life-saving option, which is far less common than donating to a family member. As Eisenberg gears up for the surgery in December, fans and the transplant community alike are applauding his generosity. He hopes that others may follow his example and help bridge the gap between the thousands in need of a kidney and the limited number of donors. Meanwhile,
here he is, people's sexiest man alive, Jonathan Bailey!
The big reveal happened on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, where 37-year-old Jonathan Bailey got his first look at the cover, to loud cheers from the audience. The British actor laughed off the title, calling it completely absurd but very flattering, joking that his dog Benson was the first to know. Bailey rose to global fame as Lord Anthony Bridgerton in Netflix hit period drama Bridgerton, and is now taking on the role of Prince Fiyero in the highly anticipated film Wicked Part 1. Fans and fellow celebrities quickly took to social media to celebrate his new title, praising his charm, talent, and humility. People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive feature has been a pop culture tradition since 1985, which passed honorees including Mel Gibson, Michael B. Jordan, Chris Evans, and Tom Cruise. Bailey's 2025 cover hits newsstands on the 7th of November, proving that confidence, kindness, and charisma never go out of style. And this is Stella Maurice, your citizen correspondent, bringing you the latest show buzz.
In sports, 2 young women are making their mark. Canada's Victoria Mboko continues her rising streak with another WTA title win, while Britain's Abigail Pawlett turns heads in her first World Championships appearance. Let's find out more about this with Carlo de la Peña.
19-year-old Victoria Mboko secured her second WTA title of the season after a hard-fought run at the 2025 Hong Kong Open, where she staged multiple comebacks, including a win over Filipina ace Alexandra Ayala. The young Canadian has surged from outside the top 300 to the world's top 20, earning praise for her focus, resilience, and ability to stay calm under pressure. Just months earlier, Mboko made headlines by winning the Montreal title at 18, beating 4 Grand Slam champions Sophia Kenin, Coco Gauff, Elena Rybakina, and Naomi Osaka in a remarkable run. Born to Congolese parents who settled in Canada, Mboko often acknowledges her family's unwavering support, especially her father Cyprian, who she calls her biggest motivator. Despite suffering a wrist injury that affected her mid-season form, Mboko bounced back strong, capping her year with another title and proving that her journey to the top is just beginning. Meanwhile, 22-year-old Abigail Pawlett made her first World Championships appearance in Tokyo after a nail-biting wait to secure her qualification spot. Despite a fall in the opening hurdles, the Welsh athlete bounced back to set a personal best of 1.80 meters in the high jump and win her 200-meter heat. A delayed concussion forced her to withdraw after the long jump, but her performance still turned heads and showed her potential. Inspired by British heptathlon legends Denise Lewis, Kelly Sutterton, Jessica Ennis-Hill, and Katarina Johnson-Thompson, Pawlett says winning an Olympic medal is her ultimate goal. She also recorded the fastest 200-meter time among the 22 heptathletes in Tokyo, proving she has the speed to compete at the highest level. Earlier this year, she won silver at the European U23 Championships in Bergen, breaking the Welsh record and missing her university graduation to compete. Despite injuries and pandemic setbacks, Pawlett remains focused on her long-term aim of standing on the Olympic podium. She said, "To win the Olympics is the ultimate goal. I know what I'm capable of, and it's exciting to think what could be in the future." Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
The magnitude 7.4 earthquake still brings intense fear and anxiety to the residents of San Isidro, Manay, Davao Oriental, especially those who lost their homes. But thanks to the immediate aid of the SMNI Foundation Incorporated, past trauma has been replaced with hope and gratitude. Let's see how the victims recovered in Jean Domingo's report.
Barangay San Isidro, one of the 17 barangays in the municipality of Manay, Davao Oriental. Quiet and far from any trouble or commotion, every home is calm and peaceful. But on October 10, 2025, the quiet was suddenly replaced by shouting and intense fear. The residents who were on the brink of death were consumed by intense anxiety. The entire community was shocked. Itong nakikita nyo ngayon ay hindi normal na pagbuka o normal na kalsada dito sa Manay, Davao Oriental. Itong mga bukas na to ay dahilan nung lumanig na 7.4 magnitude na lindol dito sa lugar. Kung makikita nyo, ito yung kinakatakutan ng mga residente dito na dahil sa lakas ng lindol ay baka bumuka ang lupa. Umabot na nga sa dito kalaki ang pagbuka ng lupa dito na posibilidad na kung umabot pa o tumugal pa yung lindol ay tulunang bumuka ang lupa at magdulot ng kapahamakan sa mga residente dito. Apart from the cracked ground, the earthquake also destroyed homes in Barangay San Isidro. During our rounds, even in neighboring areas, we witnessed that both children and the elderly experience intense trauma from the very first time. Each family has its own story of destruction and ordeal. One of them is Nana Estrella, a senior citizen who fought her fear to go to her blind husband, who has not gone up to the upper part of their house since the earthquake struck.
So kung may kaniadtong 1987 pa. Unya, perting huyo ka sa mong balay kanang akong panana dito sa taas. Wala mi kasaka, uy. Kay perting kuyawan na mo nga murag matumba na mong balay. Kay
ito na.
Oo, dito sa taas kahoy manggod. Unya karaan na nga balay. Unya nakuan mi kay nasiyat mi kay ang akong bana dili magkita-kita. Guyod na mo diri sa ubos, wala gid ma kuan. Unya ni balhin na mi diri sa ubos, diri na mi magkuan matulog. Unsa kaunta mi, nasige man maglinog.
Sige batik na.
Yawan ako eh. Nagkamang-kamang mi diri sa hagdan padung sa taas.
Edmar Masinati, no longer worried about the danger. What was important was only to save his wife and child who were inside the house.
Katong October 10 sa buntag sa Asgis, linog man yun to. Ako sa, wala pa naglinog na ako diri sa tiris na mo naglingkod-lingkod. Na akong mga bata, kanang 1 year old na ako natulog sa kwarto. Na akong asawa po na dito sa kuan, sa kuang tapat dito sa tiris. Na kayo kalit man itong naglinog dayon. Ako ang giyapas, katong isa nga anak na ako, katong taas buhok. Moto akong giyapas kung asa to, kaya nagdula-dula man dito sulod. Nagkusog man kayo diri ang linog. Yang asawa na ko, ang iyang gi-rescue, katong 1 year old nga natulog diri sa kwarto. Karon kay nakitan man ako ng isa, nagagawas mi. Katong bunso na ko, katong asawa na ko, nag-rescue sa isa sa kwarto. Pag-ingon na ako, pagsakit na ako nga, gawas. Wala man sa makagawas. Ang kusog na kayo ang linog. Lipong na daw siya.
Apart from losing their home after the earthquake, one of his children now needs to be carried constantly. The child is afraid to step on the ground. Even the simple movement of leaves on a tree now causes fear in the child.
Ni pag-abot ato kanang mabata na ako kanang isa, di na mo tamak sa yuta. Bago lang naulian na kay gipadoktor na ako katong kay maghilak ko permanente mo kita sa mga maghangin lang mga dahon sa kahoy. Muhilak. Kay na-trauma siya sa pangitabo kay naman sa sulod yung bata na ako. Apil po ng mga tigulang. Kakawang ka ng trauma jud. Kadali kay first time gud nga nagiya na inana nga kusog ng linog diri. Watong isip nga kusog.
Gaano kalakas siya? Gaano ka pwede mo
kusog jud kayo ma'am. Tapos dili ingon nga nag-ana-ana pa kay pag linog dito kusog jud dahil halok jud. Trauma jud. Eh, ang tugan niya pila ka niagi nagpila ka adlaw bisag maglingkod ang una-una nato muna na ako naglinog gyapon. Magigdam mo ra gyapon di katulog.
Hadlok yan na maglindol o hadlok na muntik mo na mawala ang imong pamilya.
Naragid ya. Doble ang kahadlok.
Doble kahadlok kay
linog or nawalang pamilya na.
Meanwhile, another resident suffered double the hardship when he could not immediately rescue his children due to his disability.
Ito nga nangihilak ko diri kay di man ko kalakaw akong mga bata to sa eskwelahan urot ka ng tulo. Ito nga dugay ma-rescue akong bata dito kay di naman kuha na akong asawa nalipong man. Ito mga 15 minutes before linog pagkahuman nakaabot ni mga bata na ako diri nga pasalamat na pugwato nga wala na itapos sa mga bata dito sa eskwelahan kay grabe hilak na mo diri kay di man gid may kakuan diri di ko ka kanang dili ko ka kuan kay di ko kalakaw nagsakit man ko.
In another house, resident Freddy found his 90-year-old father bloody outside their collapsed home.
Yan ang kutso niya, yan o. Yan ang dulo ng kutso niya, yun o. Yun ang dulo ng kutso niya. Hindi, yung blue. Yan o, yan o sa buong. Yan ang kutso niya hanggang dito. Yan ang door niya palabas. Dito lumabas. Tapos may upuan mo kami, kinuha na namin yung matibay na upuan. Yung simento na ito, itong simento na ito, nalagay sa upuan. Nasa sa ilalim, kaya natamaan naman siya nito. Diyan, natama siya, yan, dugo niya, dami. Yan ang dugo niya sa ulo.
Narito tayo ngayon sa isa lamang sa napakaraming tahanang sinira noong nagdaang malakas na lindol noong October 10, 2025. Sira-sirang dingding, bumagsak na kisame at durug-durug na semento ang bumalaga sa mga residente noong araw na yon. Pero sa tahanan na ito, nang iwan ng napakapait na alaala ang nagdaang lindol sapagkat muntik na kumitilito ng buhay ng isang senior citizen. Itong nakikita nyo ngayon ay ang lugar kung saan lumusot si Tatay Ezekiel, isang 90-year-old na senior citizen, at kung makikita nyo, narito pa yung bakas ng kanyang mga dugo bago siya makatakas o makaalis dito sa bumabagsak nilang bahay palabas sa kanilang tahanan nung araw na yon. According to Freddy, they no longer worried about the collapse of their house. What was important was that his father...
First time talaga nangyari sa amin dito sa Manay. Galing pa ako pagkabata, hindi ako nakaranas ng ganon. Basta, hindi maintindihan ng grabe talaga ang...
Kasi mo ginahuda-huda
yung ginauna ko talaga yung papa ko. Yung papa ko talaga nasa isip ko na kailangan ko siya ma-rescue dito sa bukid kaya nag-isa lang siya. Wala na talaga akong may si papa ko lang muna kaya matanda na siya. Yun ang inabot ko dito. Tapos ikalawa yung bahay namin. Ang ang tawag ko lang sa Panginoon na sana papa ko walang mangyari. Siyempre na dito pagdating ko dito yung papa ko. Naging ako na sa Panginoon na salamat. Walang nangyari. Dinala ko sa hospital. Tapos sabi ko, kahit matanda ng papa ko, basta hindi lang ma-disgrasya ng ganun. Pagka-disgrasya, kaya inalagaan namin yun na mabuti.
After learning the situation of our fellow men in Manay Davao Oriental, the SMNI Foundation immediately acted together with Pastor Polo Sikibuloy, who for many years has been extending aid to various places. With the help of donors who chose to remain anonymous, they delivered immediate substantial assistance to those in need, proving that aid can be delivered as long as there is no greed, selfishness, and corruption. This is the principle of SMNI Foundation, to give genuine, honest, and loving aid. Through the cooperation of volunteers from the ACQ College of Ministries and KOJC, they organized buckets upon buckets of grocery items, sacks upon sacks of rice, and gallons upon gallons of water, which were transported all the way from Davao City to Davao Oriental. Matapos ang malayo at ilang oras na paglalakbay, dumating na nga dito sa San Isidro, Manay, Davao Oriental ang sak-sakong bigas, balde-balde grocery items at galong-galong tubig mula sa SMNI Foundation Incorporated sa pamamagitan ng mga generous donors para sa mga residente ng komunidad na bagamat nasa natalang lindol ay magkakaroon ng bagong pag-asa. Even before the distribution began, the residents whose joy knew no bounds flocked to the venue. The traces of the past storm were replaced by unmatched joy due to the enormous and unexpected aid given to them. Buckets upon buckets of grocery items, gallons upon gallons of water, packed lunches, and sacks upon sacks of rice. Were distributed to them, so much that it was almost too heavy to carry and simply overflowing. Part of the SMNI Foundation Incorporated's distribution was bringing joy to the residents. Every dance step, every smile erases the sadness and hardship caused by the earthquake. With every shake of the hips, they forget even for a moment the disaster they endured. Due to the extent of the damage, the number of affected families, and the large volume of relief goods brought by the SMNI Foundation, the distribution was divided not into one or two, but into 3 batches to ensure an orderly and organized process. Through this method, every family in the barangay was assured of receiving assistance. But beyond the material aid, what truly touched the hearts of the residents was the joy and hope they felt as they received the relief goods. They expressed their gratitude and dance, not merely as a simple act of dancing, but as a way to rise up, heal, and let go of the fear and trauma caused by the strong earthquake. The residents meanwhile expressed overwhelming gratitude to the SMNI Foundation, saying they did not expect the immense amount of aid they received.
Kayo sa SMNI Foundation sa panguna po ni Pastor Kibuloy na bulto-bulto yun ito ang muna dawat gapon. So nagkaroon ng comparison kasi yung nadawat nila kaya kung sila nga kini nga hinatagan gusto nila kay sinod na nilang murag kadto nga hinatagan pag usa ka semana ba ilang to kaisa kaduha kung ada ko yung pasalamat ba na sa SMNI Foundation na naaday mga tao sama ninyo nga wala po mag-tanaw sa klase sa hinatagan ba kanang hinatagan yun nga kaingon ta nga makatabang yun tinudanay nila itong murag bisag tuod relief siya pero katong kwambod makatarungan nga paagi. So ang among mga katawhan dire hantod ron na himong istorya nila nga ang SMNI nga hinatagan grabe gyud grabe yung mga hatag mo na ingon ako sa ila nga yan po na to ang SMNI nga dugang pa nga panalangin makabot nila o nga kining atong nadawat di nato ni malimtan gikan sa ilaha.
Ma'am ako enjoy jud ko gapon ma'am kay sayaw gani ko nga katong dawat na ako nga mga konpod nga dako no kayo nga tabang na ma'am mo gani mga pasalamat ko sa SMNI Foundation kay para sa kuha katong mga tabang dako na jud kayo sayaw nawala no nang pagkagawa kay sayaw man ang kakuyaw sa ato kaging nga kuan ikan na to paglinom. Yes, ma'am. ko kaya nga katabang sa buhay. Salamat kayo niya tuloy-tuloy sana tuloy-tuloy kung may mga kuwan sa tuloy-tuloy ang mga pamahagi. Salamat kayo sa SMNI Foundation, ma'am.
Ay ma'am, sa tinod pagkasulti, hindi pa tapos yung salita sa akin. Dako, guide na dako ang tabang, ma'am. Tinod pagkasulti, ma'am. Sabi ni mo, ma'am, na true, ma'am eh. Gikan.
Pertim pasalamat tayo na ako eh. Grasya kaya nga. Samtang kay di naman ko ka lakaw-lakaw. Naman ko ito. Amang kumato dito. Sila may kung sa ko ay salamat kayo eh. Kung salamat tayo. Tanan grasya. Ako nga pangasalamatan kay gikan man sa Ginoo, wa ako tultuli.
Salamat po. Salamat po.
Ma'am, grabe kani akong ibati nga gidalhan ko ninyo pero tilap pa yan ako ani kay dako na kayo nigtabang mga wa ko makalakaw. Salamat gud kaayo. Salamat sa inyo nga ni Ari mo dire na tagaan ko ninyo og puan tulong makasulbad na ni sa amuang dako na kayo ni ma'am kay ang sahon man namon di man gani kong kapalitan niya dito sa ubos kay ano man po trabaho grabe gyud nga kuan inyo ang tabang sa mga diri. Salamat po sa inyong pagtabang diri sa mga kasi kaayo bukid na kayo ni nga mga diri pero talayo na ninyo diri pero nakasabot gyud mo sa amuang sitwasyon nga gilinugan grabe gyud daghan salamat gyud ning ang pagtabang diri sa mga.
Salamat jud kaayo. Unexpected jud ko nga kadawat nga ani. Anak ko ko ganihan ako wala. Nalagyan sila ko ang SMNI lang ko. Na, manghatag man siguro na sila no ko unta mahatagan may wa jud magkuan kay pag baba na po ninyo ara po ko hala yung baba na ang kuan. Lako yung staff man manghatag siguro na wa jud mi nakadawat og gingani. Wa jud bisag kuan wa jud ni makadawat mi anong mga ginagmay nga sa silupin ana di pa jud mao nga kuan nga makakuan jud mi ani. Salamat sa inyong tanan. God bless you always.
Salamat kayo. Wala ko magdawin yung nani mga pangatag mo. Salamat sa SMNI Foundation.
Opo.
Salamat sa inyo. Salamat tayo sa inyong tanan.
Salamat po Pastor sa inyong lahat na nakadot ako ng ayuda sa inyo. Salamat. Thank you. Maraming salamat. Nagulat kasi ako kasi akala pagkita ko ng sakyan ninyo nakakaya naman. Kasi hindi kami dito nakatanggap ng mga kuwan. Ayuda dito. Opo, na-surprise talaga. Salamat. Oo, ang laging tulong po ito sa amin. Thank you. Ma'am, salamat.
The relief operation of the SMNI Foundation that we witness shows the true spirit of unity and compassion.
Sa mga nakadawat ng nga mahinabang lalo na karon nga panahon nga kinahanglan gyud namo ni nga mga tabang. Salamat gyud sa SMNI Foundation ug sa nag-sponsor nini ug sa KOC. Salamat po sa tanan. Salamat po sa inyo nga ma'am nga nadiri na nakabisita po mo diri sa among lugar.
Monit tinuod. So ang konsulti lang daghan salamat sa inyong yata sa SMNI nga
nga walay pos nga pasalamat kinasing-kasing na mga nagdawat kini. Mao'y pinakadako sa mong kuwan kinabulang kamungan ng tatag sa mga. Ang batin ako karon ng dako ang kalipay na karon mo. Kaya ako nga masulti lang sa inyo nga.
Ako ang pasalamat. Pinagi sa ngalan ni Jesus nga ang ispotapos sa sponsor ani sa pastor. Salamat sa inyong pag-abiyabik na mo. Huwag kapalos na mo. Ang Diyos ang magapalos na mo.
Thank you kayo sa kuwan, mga staff, SMNI, commission, sa sponsor, labi na sa sponsor, sa mga staff na naghagwan ini. Very thank you, good. Kasi mag-ibati ka lang yan. Grabe ka excited. Salamat din kayo.
Salamat sa mga donors ninyo, ma'am. Marami na kay Pastor Kibuloy. Subscribe. Salamat sa mga.
Maraming salamat.
Salamat po. Sa iyo, nararamdaman ngayon, ma'am, sa tulong ng kamyo.
Maraming salamat. Salamat, ma'am. Sa sponsor sa SMNI Foundation. Salamat sa atas sa buha kay nagpasalamat yung sila yabot kay karoon sa kita yabot sa inyong yatag sa buha. Salamat ay.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Salamat kayo sa SMNI.
Thank you sa inyo.
Whenever there is a calamity, the help from SMNI Foundation reaches quickly, alongside the donors and volunteers.
Ma'am, salamat. Thank you, sir.
The recent earthquake not only caused physical damage, but also lifelong pain and fear among the residents.
Salamat yun kay SMNI Foundation and Corporation. Labi na kay Pastor Kibuloy. Salamat kayo. Salamat ko sa SMNI Foundation. Nakanawat na inani sir. At ako nang kalipay na mo.
Maraming salamat.
But in these moments, who would have thought the effect of the disaster on their lives could still be alleviated? But due to the visit and the assistance brought by the SMNI Foundation Incorporated, the sadness and fear were alleviated. It was replaced by hope and a reminder that regardless of what the calamity has caused, they have a friend in need. Every family given aid, every person helped, is due to love and the swift action of the SMNI Foundation. And for those who wish to join and extend aid to our fellow men who are victims of the calamity, you may send cash donations to SMNI Foundation via GCash number 0995-284-9117 and 0917-714-1820. For God and my beloved country, this has been Jean Domingo, SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the Sun. Winning and losing begin in the mind, and your mind is the womb of your faith. Christmas countdown. Only 50 days to go before Christmas. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Abigail Pastor. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.